Everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Robbie Crager, the Flip Flop Flipper. We're value-add real estate investors, and I'm glad you found our YouTube channel. Give me a like on the way in and subscribe to the channel. We tell you what we do, how we do it. We're real estate investors, guys, and we encourage other people to become real estate investors. In fact, we expand our business through partnerships. That's why you subscribe to the channel. If you care about learning about this stuff, we put out a few videos a week. In fact, we put out one like 5 days a week, all about real estate investing, all about entrepreneurship. On this video, we're going to talk about condo conversions and what's good about them, why they're hard to do. I'll call it the pros and cons, but I think right now there might be more worthwhile pros than the cons. So let's get into it. And why do we talk about this stuff? Well, because we're real estate investors and we're doing deals. And we've got a 9-unit building in San Juan, Puerto Rico, that right now we're trying to figure out what's the highest and best use for this building. It's traditionally been housing for students. It's small units. They're 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments in a college town. And perhaps the best use for it is to continue to be long-term rental units like it's always been. However, there's a housing shortage on the island of Puerto Rico right now, and people need things that they can buy and live in and own. And so if we converted these 9 units into condos that we could sell individually, we could now have 9 families that benefit from this building and find a place that they can call home. So the consideration is that we could do that. What do we have to look at? What will it cost to do that? Is it going to be worth it? What are the hoops that we need to jump through? And we're going to go through that right now in this video. As we're trying to make this decision, we figured if we're trying to make this decision, maybe you're trying to make this decision, or maybe it's just something that you want to learn about. Yeah, so back in the day, in the mid-2000s, everything was being converted to condos. We had a housing shortage, and it was super profitable for people to take old apartment buildings and turn them into condos and then sell them off pieces, and they could make tons of money. And so that was happening, right? We went through this incredible boom in real estate, and you could buy any old apartment building, turn it into a condo, and make a ton of money. And the real estate investors, they were going hog wild with this stuff. Now, fast forward, we've gone through the crash. We've seen that model go away for the last probably 10 or 15 years, but we're here in real time looking at a 9-unit building that's always been historically long-term rentals in a college neighborhood in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and there's a housing shortage. People are desperate and looking for places that they can afford to buy, that they can call home. And we potentially could turn this 9-unit apartment building into 9 condos and then sell them off by the pieces. We'd make more money, but they'd also become way more affordable for a family to buy 1 condo in the building as opposed to buying the entire building, if that makes sense. So because we're looking at it, we thought maybe you'd be looking at it. And I think that this is a business model that's going to work, but there are some things that we want to think about that are going to be costs and that are going to be hoops that have to be jumped through. It's like everything else. Nothing happens in a vacuum. You don't just automatically say, oh, we're going to sell it as condos, and then it's automatically a condo. Now, there's things that you've got to go through. There's codes, there's government regulations, there's all kinds of different things. We've got to be able to divide up the deeds. We've got to be able to make sure that everybody's got their individual power meters, and water and parking. All of this stuff is stuff to think about. So we're going to get into the pros and cons of condo conversions right now. I started to allude to it, but regulatory legal challenges. Converting a property into condos involves navigating the complex legal and regulatory requirements that include zoning laws, building codes, condo association regulations. These can all add significant time and cost to our project, right? So this is absolutely true. If we just want to renovate this thing and put it back on the market as long-term rentals, that's the quickest path forward. And honestly, that's typically the path that we would choose. We like this path of least resistance. We like to do things fast, but it might not be the most profitable. It might not be the highest and best use, and it might not be what's best for the community. So we're trying to take all of this into consideration, and we do this on every project that we get into, guys. We're value-add real estate investors, and part of that is figuring out what's the highest and best use for every project. So we're going through these calculations in our mind's eye and trying to put down on paper, hey, is the reward great enough, not just for us, but great enough for the community at large, right? Like, so will this be well received? Will we do all of this work and cost ourselves money and then everyone will say, we don't want to buy there, we just want to rent? Or will what we think, what we're probably leaning toward, at least we're considering, is that likely if we do it, it will be well received. So regulatory is something that you have to think about. There obviously are market risks that come along with this. So because of the extra time that goes into this project now, if we want to do the condo conversion, the market could shift, right? Like right now, I don't think that it'll shift too badly, but it's possible. Right now, if we take the extra time and jump through the hoops and spend the extra money, that'll put us maybe 6 or 8 months further down the road than where we would have been if we just went straight rental with them the way that they've always been. And who knows what will happen with the real estate market. It could crash, it could collapse. There could be no demand at the end of this. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can happen given enough time. So that's something that you have to think about. The market risks are real when you add time delays and you add the money that you have to invest. So these are things that you have to consider when you're considering a condo conversion. Also, the third sort of con, we're going to do a significant renovation on this building. So this is less for us, but many times you could buy something that doesn't need an incredible lift or a lot of renovation. But by turning it into a condo, you will have to do extra renovations. You will have to put in fire suppressions, or you may have to change things about the building to make it so that you can sell them as condos. In this case, we've bought a shell of a building that's going to be renovated anyways, so there's less of that, but it's something for you to think about when you're thinking about whether or not your apartment house should become a condo building. And number 4, the last one that I'll give you as a con against becoming a condo or doing a condo conversion, that's management and maintenance, right? So when we renovate a property for long-term rentals, we know exactly who's going to manage it. We know exactly what's going to happen. People will move in, they'll move out. We'll do what's called a turn, where we rent it to you for a year. Somebody moves out. We go in and we spruce it back up. We rent it to the next guy. Rents go up, or they go down, or they go sideways. It doesn't matter. We know who's going to manage it. We know what that takes. That's the business that we're in. So now if we did this condo conversion and we start selling these units, there's a whole new set of management. We have to set up HOAs or condo associations. We have to have common area maintenance set up. You have to set up bank accounts so that people pay into the condo association and things can be done like upkeep. So if we own it as a long-term rental, we're responsible for all of that. We're going to make sure the roof doesn't leak. We're going to make sure that the pipes work if there's a plumbing problem. In a condo conversion, there's going to be a condo association who's going to be responsible for a lot of this stuff. And then there's going to be 9 separate, in the case of this building, 9 separate homeowners who have to know how to live and cooperate with each other. So we have to create the rules, a set of rules, and we have to set it up so that everybody knows what happens going in. You know, they pay in what's called a condo association fee. There's a condo association management, and they're responsible for everything on the outside of the building, the roof and stuff like that, the plumbing from the building to the sewer system. And then the individual owners, they're responsible for everything inside. And so you have to set all of that up through your condo association. And this is an extra step. This is something that, quite honestly, many people don't think about, that you have all of these different hoops that you're going to jump through in order to be able to sell 9 individual condos as opposed to just selling a building that has 9 units in it. This is the way our mind works. We like to tell people on this channel, we like to tell you guys on this YouTube community what we're doing, how we do it. So here are the pros of the condo conversion. Our profits would likely increase quite a bit, right? Like, so we believe that we bought the building right. Buying real estate right is always a key. And we bought this thing really, really well. We know that we're going to make money on it, whether we buy it, fix it and sell it, or buy it, fix it, rent it, or buy it, fix it, and turn it into a condo and then sell it. We've got multiple options because we bought it well, because we bought it so low, and we're value add real estate investors. We're going to make it a much nicer building over the next few months. We're going to improve everything. So this is a pro for us, is that we could increase and maximize our investment return. Now, everybody always wants to get a good return, but converting it to a condo, we would potentially, we believe, substantially increase the profitability. Part of this profit potential that I like to think about, or that I am thinking about, and whether we should do this or not, is what does it do for the community? So in either case, housing is needed. And so we are going to fix this place up. There's going to be some joy that people have by living in it, whether they're doing that as rentals, as students, as housing for families, whatever the case may be. The fact that the place was dilapidated and not being lived in and not being used, the fact that we come around as value add real estate investors and make a heavy investment into it and then put it back into the market and increase the amount of properties that are available for the community to live in, either as rentals or, if we do the condo conversion, as ownership. So what is best for the community? Is it that there are 9 more places that somebody can buy and that own and have pride of ownership and get the joy that way? Or would it be better for the neighborhood for it to just maintain as rents? And so these are part of the decisions that we have to make. And honestly, guys, we haven't made this determination yet. We're going through this in real time and trying to decide, should we make this a condo? Should we make this long-term rents? There was even, before we talked about that, a decision of should we turn it into a hotel? So when we were first buying this, we even thought through and ran through the process in our mind's eye of, should we turn this into a guest house? Like, is it close enough to the college that there'd be demand for parents to come and stay? Or would we furnish these up and rent them out to just students? So we go through all of these. We're constantly sort of battling with ourselves to figure out what the highest and best use is. That's part of the reason for the channel, right? Like, we are always looking for the highest and best use. So in this case, we believe at this point that we're not probably going to make this exclusively a guest house. We're not also probably going to furnish these up and make them just for students. We're either going to do the long-term rents, or we're going to just do a buy, fix, and sell, or the third option on this would be that we did a condo conversion. So another pro to condo conversions is the market demand. So there's a heavy demand for housing in this area and on the island of Puerto Rico. There's not enough housing to meet the demand, and prices have been kind of skyrocketing, right? So if we can bring 9 new places to the market for sale, and they're smaller units and they can perhaps be cheaper, then it can open up to a segment of the market that's looking for a young professional, one of these college kids that's just graduated, somebody who's just starting out with their family and it's a first-time home, something where it's more affordable. We're chopping it into 9 units, so it becomes a smaller investment, an easier path forward for homeownership. Those are some benefits, not only just for us, but also for the neighborhood. I like that part of it. That pushes me, I think, a little bit towards this condo conversion. I've got to talk to partners and we've got to make these decisions together. There's a pretty significant investment that we talked about in order to do this. It costs us probably about 20% more for making a condo conversion as opposed to just renovating them and putting them back on the rental market. So we're right there, guys. We're trying to make this decision in real time. And part of what we're thinking about is the market condition and the market demand. The third thing that is a pro is control over the units. By converting the units into condos, we could sell off a portion of the building and recoup our investment and then maintain ownership of a portion of the unit and keep them as rental properties. It gives us flexibility inside of our portfolio. Plus, it's something fun to do. It's something that we've never done before. We haven't ever gone through this process of becoming condo conversion investors. And if it works, then it gives us a new way to move forward with other real estate transactions, with other deals that we've got. So learning something new, that's a pro to condo conversions. At least it is for me, Robbie Crager, the Flip-Flop Flipper. I'm always liking the idea of learning a new skill set, the idea of doing something differently. And so in this case, we've never done this before. I've done thousands of renovations, buy, fix, and sell. We've got a nice rental portfolio. We own some hotels, but we've never done a condo conversion. So that excites me. And I need to determine, and my partners and I will have to discuss this and talk about, is this the way to go? I don't want to just do it because Robbie gets excited about it. That could happen, but that is something that's a pro for me, is that I get to learn something new, or that the team would get to learn something new. I think that that's a big pro. But number 4 pro to doing the condo conversion would be diversification. So condo conversions, they can provide diversification within the real estate investment portfolio. So not only do I get to learn something new, but we invest in a new type of asset and we're diversified. So diversification for us looks like different types of real estate investing, right? So we're diversified by having long-term rental portfolio, having single family houses that we buy, fix, and sell, having potentially hotels or guest house or youth hostels. There's all kinds of different ways that we invest in real estate and gain diversification and safety. We invest sometimes into mixed use buildings where we have commercial in one spot and housing in another spot. A lot of this stuff is new to us as well. So guys, even though I've been a real estate investor and that's all I've ever done, basically my entire career for 26 years, we didn't invest in all of these ways the whole time, right? We started out buying single family homes. We did that for many, many years, and that was all we did. We didn't own rentals at that time. We just bought, fixed, and sold, bought, fixed, and sold. Then we became rental owners. We would buy, fix, and rent single family homes. Then we started buying small multifamilies, buy, fix, and rent small multifamilies. Then we came to the island of Puerto Rico to start a business and do some of the same thing. And very quickly on, the island kind of indicated that we should be investing in hospitality. So we started to do that. And then we've seen opportunities in buying buildings that have mixed use and putting businesses in the bottom and having housing in the top. So we've started to do that. So it's been fun. It's been a neat process to like learn and grow into all of this stuff. I'm big on always being learning and having my next deal is my best deal. I've always been that way. That's part of what excites me. What gets me out of bed in the morning is that I'm constantly learning. I'm learning how to be a better investor, provide a better product to the community at large. And as value add investors, we get to do that. And it's a fun thing. It provides a great life. You guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I highly encourage this life, this value add investing. It's a great deal. All right, so there's the pros and cons of whether or not you should do a condo conversion. And we're gonna figure this out. We haven't made this decision yet, but like and subscribe to the channel, follow for progress. I mean, you probably can see here as I'm guessing in this video, we're showing our 9-unit building. We'll make this decision. When we make the decision, we'll do another video on it. We'll have an update. We're gonna do a complete value add renovation on this building so you can follow for that. And we try to show you guys what we're doing as real estate investors, the deals that we're doing, the way our mind works, how you can be a real estate investor as well. We put out tons of content. Guys, we don't ask you for anything, but we would like for you to hit that like button if you enjoy our content. We'd love for you to subscribe to the channel and become part of our community. As always, guys, we're trying to expand our business through partnerships. And so if that sounds good to you, maybe send me an email at theflipflopflipperpr@gmail.com. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. We'll see you on the next one. God bless.